What is going on, guys? Predator458 here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another Tirpitz video. And unfortunately it is a replay. Now the reason you're looking at another Tirpitz video and a replay is because I spent most of my gaming time this weekend playing this and the Otago and every premium ship I had to try and secure the funds necessary to buy the Montana. Now I have bought it. I had my first few games in it earlier today, recording this on Sunday afternoon. Unfortunately, neither of them went particularly well. The first game I played, there was a Shimakaze on the enemy team. We were on Oceans and he was just spamming those torpedoes. I could barely move, barely get into position, always having to slow down and try and dodge torpedoes. And eventually he fired very wide spreads and there was just nowhere for me to go. And I took a single torpedo and it detonated my magazine from full health to dead from one torpedo. So that was a bit annoying. And then the next match, again, just having to always slow down to avoid torpedoes and cruisers just abandoning me and left me to my fate. So it was a bit unfortunate. So if you're seeing this video on Monday, it is because Monday being tomorrow for me. I'm going to take our first shots at this Mogami, and those are replay bugs. The lag really wasn't that bad for me. But if you're seeing it on Monday, it means I needed a bit more time to try and hopefully have a good match in the Montana. Otherwise, this will be Tuesday's video. It all just depends on how things go. But anyways, because I've covered these ships, the Tirpitz, recently, I wasn't recording the games I had. And this game in particular just turned out to be pretty damn good. It got just a disgusting amount of Citadel hits, and there were even some accusations thrown at me towards the end of the match. And we've taken some more long-range shots at the Mogami. We get 2 hits for negligible damage, and he's now starting to return fire, presumably, judging by the range he's firing at me, with the 6-inch guns rather than the 8. Because I think the 8-inch guns are limited to 15 kilometers or so, but the 6 inches can reach out to 17 odd with the right upgrades in captain skills and that sort of thing. So as you can see on the teams, let me just bring it up here, 2 tier 10 carriers, 1 on each team. We've got an Iowan and a Zumo and 2 Tirpai. They've got 3 Tirpitzes and an Amagi and then a Des Moines, but we also have a Shimakaze and a Kagero, but they have a Fletcher. So teams are fairly decent. Some things I'd rather not have to deal with. We take some more shots at the Mogami and we land 2 Citadel hits and an extra hit for good luck, and we very nearly wipe them off the face of the earth. And that's kind of where you can see the one drawback of the Tirpitz's guns, is because they only do 11,300 max AP damage. I mean, 2 Citadels, if that had been with an Amagi or North Carolina, that would have finished him off, I think. And we get another Citadel on the Otago and 3 more hits for an additional 4,000 damage. So not a bad shot on that guy, and we've pretty much taken him down to half health. And Nemo TT, that is actually the guy who is going to throw the accusations my way at the end of the match. I don't know if I actually killed him or if he was just getting in on the action, but we fire another salvo, and unfortunately all of those miss. We've now got an enemy Tirpitz at 21 kilometers. We're pushing fairly hard around the western side of the map. You can see this is where most of our team is. We got a destroyer and a cruiser that look like they're going to consider pushing up through these islands. And actually their target looks like he's turning away, but this Kagero is going to continue, I think, and this Tirpitz unfortunately turns into our shells and they all go harmlessly into the water. But we got some incoming fire from him now. We've turned away. We take 1 or 2 hits, but because of our angling, he gets no penetrations, no damage, and we're still sitting pretty on full health. And now we got this Otago here at 13.2. Unfortunately, as is always the case when you get the best shots on targets, and we get an incapacitation and 2 hits for minimal damage, but hopefully we took out one of his main guns, at least temporarily. But when you get these beautiful shots on cruisers or something, they're always hidden out of view. And I did consider turning around and going to engage him, but I decided to continue pushing up. And we've got, again, it's Nemo TT in his Otago at 17 kilometers. And we got some torpedoes coming in. They are already spotted, so we're not going to have any difficulty evading those. We're just lining up the shot. We fire a full salvo, and hopefully keeping our fingers crossed that we get a good hit on him. And there's that other Otago, and we're just watching our shells land, and another Citadel, and 3 hits for 16,000 damage. So that's 4 Citadels already, and that was a pretty interesting angle to get a Citadel on, on a cruiser. Even at that angle, you can sometimes expect to bounce from his armor, but also it's, for me, those are still even after all this time, the most difficult shots to sort of gauge and to lead. So we're going to fire another salvo, this time at Private Paul, who's in another Otago. And we're just going to watch those shells fly in, and they're looking pretty good. And we land another Citadel. And as you can see in chat, the one guy on our team is raging at the enemy aircraft carrier. D3D, what was he in? He was in an Ibuki, so I don't know why he's complaining about aircraft carriers. He's in a cruiser. He has every available tool at his disposal to try and mitigate the damage that they can do. And some more lag from the replay again that did not happen in game. But we're going to fire another full salvo, and unfortunately he is going to turn away, and we're just going to miss. And we're going to take some damage from him. They finally managed to knock us down from full health. And Tomb Raider is telling us to cap A, as if we don't really know how this works. But we are moving into A, and our shells just managed to sneak over the mountain, and we get a single hit for no damage. So it was a nice little sneaky shot there, as the Otago of Private Paul tried to get away from our guns. And we're just trying to keep an eye on what all of our teammates are doing. We've got some more torpedo planes coming in from the enemy midway, who's already gotten a kill. I think he was the one who got the kill on D3D, or whatever his name was. So we fired another salvo at Private Paul. We're firing our rear guns now, as we had to turn to get them on target. We're just keeping an eye on that enemy aircraft carrier, and those shells are looking pretty good. They look like they had a nice grouping, but unfortunately they kind of splice and do no significant damage to the Otago. And here we got an Amagi as well, and we've focused up. It's not showing in the replay, but we had focused up these torpedo planes. We're slowing down and trying to turn in, and this was very, very lucky here, because we managed to hit all of the torpedoes before they armed. So he did take out our engine. I think we're going to repair that up very soon and get underway again. But that was very lucky, and it even actually looks like they had enough room to arm, and that should have ended a lot worse for me. So we fire again at Nemo, and we just sneak over the mountain, and we get another Citadel to finish him off for 5,302 damage. So unfortunately he didn't have more health left. It was a very small amount of health that we took off with that Citadel hit. And it's always unfortunate when that happens. But we're back to Private Paul. We're going to fire our front guns as we turn to get our rear guns to bear. We're going to fire those off as soon as we've lined up the shot. And we're now going to hope for the best. And we get 2 Citadels. And this was just one of those games where your RNG is just on your side and your aim is true. And I mean, that's 8 Citadels already, which I think you'll all agree that's generally pretty good when you're in a battleship. Cruisers, you can get a lot of Citadel hits in a match because you've got very fast firing guns. But for battleships, generally getting this many Citadels is quite lucky. So we've deployed our scout plane so we can fire some long-range shots at the enemy midway. We took the lead, fired off a full salvo, but we're now going to continue our turn and we're going to engage this Tirpitz behind us. And we're just going to watch our shells come in, and they're looking pretty good. And we get 3 hits and another Citadel, bringing us to 9 in total. And that is, I think, the very last Citadel I get for this match. But I'm not done. I've still got more action. And there we go. There's Nemo coming in. Nice aimbot. Thank you very much. And I kind of wish I'd taken this a little bit further, because I just like to say thanks, and eventually like, okay, well, you know, I'll put the video up on YouTube for you if you want, which obviously I'm doing now, but I don't know, that probably wouldn't have satisfied him, because he may have just gone, oh, well, replays don't show that stuff. Not sure if they do anyway. But yeah, thanks very much for your compliment, Nemo. It's always good when you get these kind of accusations, because it means you're doing something right. And unfortunately, we're in a bit of a tight spot now, because we're trying to keep our armor angled against this Tirpitz. We just gave him a little bit too much elevation, but we are now, we do have the Amagi at 10 kilometers on our port side, who, you know, we can't unfortunately effectively angle against both of them. And that salvo RNG just doesn't like me. You know, the gun splice, 2 going behind, 2 going in front. But we're going straight in. While I was playing to get the money for Montana, I was actually really having a lot of fun just playing super aggressive with the Tirpitz and getting like really, and there we take 14,000 damage from, presumably from that Amagi, and just playing really, really aggressively. And I actually got to use my torpedoes a fair number of times on, this was from Saturday night, I think. So I got to use my torpedoes a fair number of times over the few games that I played in this Tirpitz, when I was getting to play really aggressive and getting up close and personal. And like one of the games, even lag prevented me, because I pulled out my, you know, lined up my torpedo tubes, and I clicked, and as I clicked I had a bit of a lag spike, and then I was dead, so I was unfortunately not able to get them out. But we're now turning. I think we're continuing our turn to port right now to try and get our port side torpedo tubes on target. Unfortunately, the smoke is in the bloody way, so we're just trying to line them up. We can't even see where we're shooting, but we get them off, and they're looking good. And we get 2 torpedo hits, and we finish them off. And there come his torpedoes, but we are going to manage to get out of the way of those. But we're now on fire. We use our last heal, and I think the Amagi pretty much wrecks us, and then the Des Moines finishes us off with his high explosive shells. So let's head off to the results. So as you can see, it was a defeat in the end, which was unfortunate for us. It was still a really fun game, and you know, this is the kind of game where I really don't mind losing, because it was still fun. And really enjoyable, and still some pretty good results for me at the end of the day. We got 28 target hits, got 2 torpedo hits, shot down 1 plane, 2 incapacitations, destroyed 3 enemy vessels, caused flooding twice, and got a very impressive 9 Citadel hits for 635 silver, basically 2,700 research. We came first place on our team with 1,858 base experience. Nearly coming second place overall. The Des Moines on the enemy team just narrowly beat us out. Their midway came first place by a long way, and our carrier was down in second to last place with 344 points. So unfortunately, our carrier player did not perform well for our team. But then on to the detailed results. As you can see, we got 37 hits, 35 penetrations, causing a total of 132,000 damage. We got the 2 torpedo hits for 14,300 damage, and even a few secondary hits for another 842. So not a bad game overall, and I think this was like one of the last games I needed to finally get enough money to buy Montana and start putting some of the module upgrades onto it. So hopefully you will see that very soon, either on Monday or Tuesday, depending on whether I have a good game or not. But anyways, that is about it for this video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing for more World of Warships content, as well as War Thunder and a few other things that I throw into the mix from time to time. Also, be sure to check the description down below for links to my Facebook and my Twitter pages, as well as the email address that you guys can use to send in your really awesome replays if you'd like to have them featured on my channel. But as I said, that is it from me. This is Predator 458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.